all the possession going their way. Really, no excuses for Italy, something we will get into, but let's just take a look at the victors here, shall we? This is the North Macedonia locker room. Let's not forget, this is a team who won away in Germany in qualifiers as well. They cannot be underestimated, Shaka.
Absolutely cannot. And despite the lopsided nature of the stats, I don't think they give enough credit to how good North Macedonia were defensively, throwing their body in the way of everything and somehow get rewarded for it.
They were the 17-1 underdog to win this game. It is Italy failing to qualify for a second straight World Cup, just one win in their last 6 World Cup qualifiers, 4 draws and a loss. Their first home loss in a World Cup qualifier. They had been unbeaten in a previous 59 home World Cup qualifying matches. And playing the game in Palermo was also to do with the passion of the locals, untainted by club rivalry, hoping that they would be able to will their side on to a win. It wasn't to be in the end, and there is much to discuss as we welcome in Frank Leboeuf, Gabriele Marcotti and Don Hutchison. Gab, I've got to start with you as the Italian here. What are your thoughts on what we saw today?
Well, look, I think you can only... I want to say out this, I know people are watching all over the world in different confederations. UEFA are extremely... They have a generous World Cup allocation. They have 13 spots, okay? And that means that you've got a margin for error. You get bites of the cherry. And Italy had that. They would have won their group. If not, and they would have been watching this game on TV tonight, sitting back with a cold beverage. But no, against Switzerland, they dominate, miss a penalty, a win turns into a draw. Against Switzerland in the other game, they dominate, miss a penalty, and a win turns into a draw. Against Bulgaria at home, they dominate, give up a stupid goal on the counter, and a win turns into a draw. So that's 3 get out of jail cards. And then tonight, it was a bridge too far. And again, they take the game to the opposition. They're completely devoid of cutting edge in the final third, but they do take a lot of shots. I think if you count block shots too, it's 32 shots on goal, 70% possession, as we saw there. But it doesn't matter because this is football. And this is where a country of 1.8 million, ranked 67th in the world, like North Macedonia, the guy takes a shot of his life at the end, and he gets, and they're through, and they get to face Cristiano, and they're 90 minutes away from going to the World Cup. And I think you have to accept that that this is also football. You do not deserve to be there if you slip up too many times in key moments.
Gab, we're obviously recording pretty soon after this game's finished, but so far, what's the reaction been from the Italian side of things over in Italy?
Yeah, well, both the FA president, Gabriele Gravina, spoke, as did Mancini and so on. There's shock, there's disappointment. We went through all this 4 years ago. But I think also there was a willingness to recognize that situation's rather different than 4 years ago. This is an Italy side that I think actually, well, certainly most people in Italy think, has played well. But before tonight, they had lost just 1 of their previous 39 games. They had set a new world unbeaten record. They had won the Euros, and generally they did it by taking the game to the opposition, by playing attractive, attacking football. Obviously lacking a cutting edge, and we saw that to some degree at the Euros as well. But it's very different. You're trying to do a handbrake turn on 100 years of history here. And I think Mancini's created a very positive environment, very positive vibes around it. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be sacked. And I think the only way he's not back as manager is if he decides to resign. I don't think he's going to do that. There is a sense that you're definitely on the right track, but this is a learning opportunity because you can't screw up so many times and you have so many chances to remedy it, and then you don't do it.
Don, how shocked are you to see Italy lose this game?
It's embarrassing, Kay, to be honest. I was with a group of ex-professionals who were commentating on different games tonight, and lots of commentators, and we were talking about the different games, the different permutations, who was going to struggle, who was going to go through, and we all sat there and thought Italy are absolute bankers to win tonight. So you come in after the game and you hear the news that North Macedonia have won. We seen the goal earlier, brilliant strike, but you can't just bury this result. You can't. If you're in charge, if you're Mancini or at a higher level, boardroom level, you can't. You have to take a step back and you've got to look at this and think, this can't happen. Italian football, this can't happen. This freak result against North Macedonia shouldn't happen. And if it does, you can't bury it. You've got to look for reasons why. Beforehand, I was looking at the team. I was thinking good, strong 11. I looked at the bench. No Belotti, obviously. No Chiesa, massive players that have been missing. João Pedro was on the bench, who plays for Cagliari and is a very good pro. But after this starting 11, and his best 11 was on the pitch, there wasn't a lot to turn to. And as I said, you can't bury this result. This is a major shock. And, you know, football's football. Different fans, different countries will be having a little laugh and having a giggle at Italian football tonight. And the federation now have got to swallow it, and they've got to take it on the chin. That's all you can do.
If you can't bury that result then, Frank, as Gab was saying, he thinks Mancini's okay and will stay in his job, won't be sacked. Is that the right decision? Should he stay in the role? I mean, they just won the Euros last summer.
Yeah, that's the thing you shouldn't forget. You know, 8 months ago they were the European champion, and you have to pay credit to what Mancini did. So, is it the players' fault? Is it the coach fault? Is it the federation fault? Everybody has to step back, as Don said, and make their own judgment about what happened today. Mancini showed throughout, you know, his managing as a coach of Manchester City or some other clubs, and as a national team coach, that he has the talent and he can again manage to give the best and do the best for the national team. I remember Raymond Domenech being kept, you know, after the disaster of 2008, and we saw what happened in 2010 with the national team. But we shouldn't put Mancini at the same level as Domenech. I'm pretty sure Italy will keep him. I would love him to stay and to show to the world that he can bounce back and puts back Italy to the level that they were before.
Gab, how desperate are Italy for a clinical, out-and-out striker, a number 9?
Well, you know, that paper is over a lot of cracks. You know, I was thinking back, and look, I as I said, I think things are moving in the right direction. I think the last thing we need now is one of those overreactions, root and branch reviews, go and review the everything that's happening at youth level, blah, 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 the under-15s. No, I think they're already moving in the right direction. Just going to take time for these things to go through. But at the risk of stating the obvious, all those years of the Italy sides that I grew up with, where it was all about staunch defending and kind of living in fear, and then some superstar, Del Piero or Totti or Paolo Rossi in 1982, or Roberto Baggio, somebody does something magical at the other end and you win. I don't think you can win in the modern game. And Italy certainly don't have a player like that right now. Maybe a few years from now, maybe Zaniolo, I don't know, but maybe Chiesa when he's fit. I don't think they're on that level. And when you've got those attacking superstars, and I'm being Captain Obvious here, but you know, when Italy won the World Cup in 2006, they had people up front named Totti, Del Piero, Luca Toni. This is just a completely different level from where they are now. And so they have to, but they have strengths in other places, and then that's how they tried to play, and that was through the midfield and creating chances. But you know, you have to accept that on the one, you can't overreact to this. You have to take, I think, a broader view. Accept the fact that you didn't deserve that. You don't deserve to be there because you made mistakes. You had a lot of chances and you didn't take them. But equally, you can't go out and say, oh no, it's year 0 again. It's not a grown-up attitude to have, I think.
Thank you very much for watching ESPN FC on YouTube. For more highlights, analysis and exclusive content, be sure to subscribe.